Okay, so we just wrapped up talking about unplanned retail locations. Let's talk about now some planned retail locations. And if you remember from the last video, a planned retail location in general has a shopping center developer or management team that makes and enforces policies that govern the store operations. So the retailer themselves is not responsible for a lot of the common area maintenance, which would include, parking lot striping, changing light bulbs in the parking lot, upkeeping the landscaping, possibly changing or fixing any damages to the exterior of the building, things like that. Those are all generally done by the property manager or the management team for the property. So let's talk about planned retail locations. So the first type, there are 7 of these, so there's quite a few that we'll walk through today. But the first type of planned retail locations, also we could call them shopping centers, would be what is considered convenience, neighborhood, and community shopping centers, or as we know them, strip malls. Strip malls are attached rows of open-air stores. A couple advantages of these is that there's usually a lot of on-site, very convenient parking. From a rent perspective, the occupancy cost or the rent cost is generally low. We see a lot of these strip malls located in parking lots of full-line discount stores or other freestanding stores. So that bottom picture there is actually our strip mall right outside of Walmart. So that might look familiar to you. A couple disadvantages to locating in a strip mall is that there's a limited trade area. Now, we haven't talked about trade area yet. That's coming in Chapter 8. But what this essentially means is that people aren't willing to drive very far to get to a strip mall. So they usually only go to the strip mall if it's close to their home or on their way to another retailer. They're not going to drive there independently. In general, there's a lack of entertainment at a strip mall, so you're not going to find a lot of service retailers, maybe like a movie theater or a bowling alley. You're not going to find sit-down restaurants in general. Now, I know what you're thinking in your head right now. Wait, we see the China Buffet, or we see carryout, or a lot of Subways are located in strip malls. And so that's correct. From a fast food perspective, you will see some of them operate in strip malls, but generally speaking, we don't see restaurants or any other type of service retailer locating in a strip mall. Another disadvantage is that there's no protection from the weather. And while you might think, well, this doesn't matter, it does. Studies have shown that customers do make a decision on when and where to go shopping based on the weather. And so if it is pouring rain or there is 2 foot of snow outside, strip malls are going to get a lot less traffic. Let's talk about power centers. Power centers are the second type of planned retail location that we're going to talk about. They generally consist of full-line discount stores, off-price stores, warehouse clubs, and category specialists. So you'll see all kinds of retailers locating in power centers. A power center usually consists of a collection of freestanding stores. Sometimes you'll see a strip mall in a power center, but it usually contains a little bit higher end, when you think of a general strip mall, a little bit higher end of a type of shopping experience. And sometimes you'll see these located near an enclosed mall. This is an example of a power center. A power center, all of the stores share a parking lot. So once you drive into the power center, it is enclosed. You can't exit. There's generally only 1 or 2 entrances and exits to each power center. Power centers, not only do they consist of general retailers, but they often consist of service retailers in the form of restaurants or auto shops or fitness centers as well. Generally lower rent in power centers, and they do see a very modest level of both foot and vehicular traffic, which is a really great thing that a power center offers that no other retail location does offer, is that they have a consistent amount of both foot and vehicle traffic in the location. So next we're going to talk about enclosed shopping malls. Shopping malls enclosed. They're enclosed, they're climate controlled, and they're generally lighted. I'm going to post there's a video in Module 5 on the Mall of America, which is the largest mall. That's pretty cool to watch. Some of the advantages of shopping malls is that they do attract many shoppers, and they generate traffic from a large trade area. And so again, I know we haven't formally talked about this yet, but what I mean by a large trade area is that people are willing to drive from far away to get to enclosed shopping malls. They draw from a very large geographic area. And it's a great opportunity for customers to combine shopping with entertainment and experiences. And so that's what you'll see in the video. Malls tend to really become tourist attractions. Which is great for the retailer because people want to come and they want to stay there for hours at a time. It is weather protected, which is a benefit. So, we talked about with strip malls how customers do make decisions on when and where to shop based on the weather. You can go to a shopping mall, especially an enclosed shopping mall, year round, regardless of snow, rain, sleet, heat, or any other weather impairment. A couple disadvantages, however, of shopping malls is that there's very high occupancy cost and very small square footage. So the rent is very high, and the stores are often very small. Another disadvantage is that the mall management controls your operations. So you don't get to select what hours you're open. And you don't get to select what type of lighting is in your retail store. You don't get to select what time the mall doors open. You are under the regulation of that shopping mall, and so you must follow their operating policies. Another disadvantage to mall is that there is very intense competition. And when we talk about competition in shopping malls, it can be both a very good thing and a very bad thing. I want you to think about the last mall you went into. Okay, other than the Milledgeville Mall. Think of the last large shopping mall, large enclosed shopping mall you've been to. If you think about the jewelry stores, and I love this example because it just fits so well. But if you go to a jewelry store, they're generally located, if you stand right in the middle of the mall floor and you turn in a complete circle, you'll find 1, 2, 3, 4 jewelry stores. And they're all located in the exact same place in the mall. Why is that? Well, there's 2 ways you can look at that intense competition. And the first way is that competition is a really good thing, because one of the reasons that customers go to an enclosed shopping mall is because they want options. And so you have 4 places to look for jewelry, or you have 4 places to look for apparel, right? Anytime you go to a mall, you'll see the Gap, Banana Republic, American Eagle, Abercrombie, right? So you see all those different shopping areas where you can get the same essentially type of merchandise. And so retailers like that competition from a perspective of the drawing power, that if people are going to buy jewelry, they're most likely to go to a mall where they can look at 4 stores at one time, versus driving to freestanding sites where they have to drive around. The downside to that competition, of course, is that it's very price competitive and customer service competitive. So you have to be at your very best in order to win the sale from that customer who is shopping around. Kind of a fun fact about shopping malls, the last mall actually opened in the United States in 2006. So we haven't had a mall open in over 10, well, I guess just about 10 years. Right? 10 years is a long time. So shopping malls aren't growing. The industry isn't growing. There's actually only about 1,500 shopping malls left in the United States, which isn't as big of a number as it sounds. That's only about, it's decreased over the last few years. And the reason malls have decreased and malls are closing at a higher rate than they are opening is because we've seen various other types of planned retail locations pop up. Which leads us to our discussion on lifestyle centers. Lifestyle centers are shopping centers that are open air. They usually consist of specialty stores, entertainment venues, restaurants. You'll see a lot of fountains and street furniture and experiences outside of the store as well as inside the stores. A couple advantages to these lifestyle centers is that they're very attractive for shoppers. Again, it's all about the experience. You can go, you can play outside, you can do your shopping, you can eat your dinner, you can experience some entertainment. There's normally easy parking. Lifestyle centers tend to be located in the suburbs or outside of the city where there is ample parking available. Rent is comparably low, especially when you think about enclosed shopping malls. Lifestyle centers tend to be located near high income areas, and you'll have higher end stores in lifestyle centers. A couple disadvantages, however, is that retail space is limited, so there's smaller square footage, and there's no coverage for inclement weather. Rain and snow can really deter shoppers from lifestyle centers, which, especially in northern areas, can diminish sales over the course of time. We're going to talk about mixed-use developments next. Mixed-use developments are a relatively new type of retail location, a new type of shopping center. In fact, we're still seeing them really come to fruition. We've just seen the start of these over the last 5 or 7 years. Mixed-use developments combine several uses into one complex. So oftentimes you'll see retail establishments, office space, you'll see residential living. There's often hotels or recreation activities in these mixed-use developments. They're very pedestrian oriented and they create a live, work, play environment. So you will see retail on the lower levels, you'll see offices on the middle levels, and you'll often have apartments in the same complex. So it really does create that live, work, play environment. It appeals to young professionals, and it appeals to people who have long commutes, who want to do everything in one place. It's also a very efficient use of space. So you can see in the images both a rendering and an actual example of a mixed-use development. The last type of planned retail location that we're going to discuss today are outlet centers. Outlet centers are shopping centers that contain mostly manufacturers and retailers' outlet stores. Outlet stores are owned by the retailer or by the manufacturer. They usually have a very strong entertainment component, so you'll see usually movie theaters or restaurants attached to outlet centers to try to help encourage customers to stay on the premise longer. What's really interesting about outlet centers used to have a pretty bad name, bad reputation. Outlet centers were known to be places where retailers and manufacturers sent their mistakes, clothing that wasn't stitched quite well, purses that had mismatched zippers. Today, 82% of merchandise is now made for outlets. So think about that. Outlets used to be where the mistake merchandise went, or had the reputation of being where the mistake merchandise went, or where the out-of-season merchandise went, or where the old merchandise went. Today, it's made for the outlet. It's made for the outlet so that customers can get the brand name product or the manufacturer's name product at a lower price generally. And generally it's because it's made with a slightly different type of material or slightly different configuration than what you would get in a non-outlet store, but it is made for outlet. You'll typically find outlet centers in very remote locations, and this is because of its lower cost, and there's lower competition from department stores and specialty stores. So outlet centers tend to locate in remote locations so that they are not directly competing with other types of planned retail locations. And they do have a very large trade area. People will drive for 2 to 3 hours to get to an outlet center. So that covers our list of planned retail locations. You can supplement this lecture with more details and more information about each of these types of planned retail locations in your textbook. And next up, we will be talking about pop-up locations.